Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com.
And then, so I know this is the story you all heard, but he would ask, sometimes he would be like, hey, you want to fight?
Yeah.
And I would be like, no, because I thought that he was like asking if I wanted to like fight him, like overpower him. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, like what I would tell you now is like, for the most part, I don't switch.
No.
And especially with men, I don't switch. No. Like my brain doesn't have a concept of how to do that.
But you are an alpha sub.
And I can be directed. Yeah. Like if a man directs a certain thing, like if a man that we're with, like if he might want to be choked or something like that, I can do that. If he's asking for it and almost kind of making it happen, I can do that. Right. But like, I don't think I could spank somebody or flog somebody and I don't want to give the directions. No. Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
It's so good to know ourselves.
Yes, I know.
So
I thought like he was wanting me to kind of like fight back against him or overpower him. I did not know that he was asking, hey, would you like to do a little consensual non-consent play? Because that I would have said yes to.
So when I was young,
Gotcha.
I wrestled.
Yeah.
I wrestled every guy. And I'm like a little powerhouse.
Right.
Like, because I'm small, they were
that
not.
Good center of gravity going.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, she will out freaking plow you with a snow shovel. I guarantee it.
Now that I can do.
She is a fucking
That I
warhorse.
can do.
I'm out there panting and just going, I'm hurting everywhere. And she's done cleared up 10 swipes to
I'll
my
keep
one.
going.
I am from Chicago.
Oh, well,
And when you're from
came by it
Chicago, I
honest.
spent my whole life shoveling freaking snow. So he's out there shoveling it like I'm like you just push it. You just put the shovel in front of you and you push.
That's not shoveling. That's plowing.
Yeah, and she would still do 10 to my one. So the next time it snowed, I made sure I was at work and just let her go.
Honey.
Oh no, I'm not there.
Let me check the camera. I've got about another hour or so left to work.
I did. I shoveled it all.
But yeah, so you were pertaining to the wrestling, just kind of, being able to get on top of her, hold her down while you try to struggle to get out kind of play. Exactly.
And then once I don't know how the light went off. I don't know how I processed it. But once I did process it, that I realized he wants to initiate a CNC scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I was like, yes, I would like to wrestle.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Right.
And that was great.
Yeah. So occasionally, we'll be having some fun, and then I'll just be like, "Fight me,"
He'd be like, let's fight.
and she immediately gets into it.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm not as strong as I used to be. And Master Nick is as strong as he is.
Yes.
So I will get on top. Then I'll be like, I have you pinned.
Yeah.
I have you
She'll
pinned.
come in there one day feeling all spunky,
Yeah, you're so sweet.
spunky sub, and she'll get up on top of me and straddle, and she goes, "You can't move." And I'll lay there like, "Oh no,
He says it
I'm
just
trapped."
like that too.
And then
Oh no! And then just like that, boom,
Yeah.
she's on her back.
Yeah. And I will for it's hard because like I want to fight and I want him to overpower me and I really enjoy the CNC scene. But at the same time, it's so good that I'm like, okay, at some point I got to stop fighting because this is really good. And I'd like to get into this a little more. So like, when is it going to snap? And I'm going to have to be like, okay, I'm not fighting anymore.
For that.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But like, I will throw everything I have at it. Aside from, I've never like punched you in the face I haven't done that.
No.
But I mean, I've really
Scratched
tried to
me.
keep you off
Yeah.
me. and I can't, which really turns me on.
It turns me on too. That's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was younger, I was stronger. I mean, I used to work out all the time. I don't now. I mean, I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
I don't want that in my life. But I did. And I used to be able to if I could pull you off of me and overpower you, you're not the right person for me.
This will not work
It's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Shake hands and part your way. Good match.
Good game.
And then I think things just went on from there. Like that just led us to having more conversations or experimenting a little bit more and
changing the categories in your porn.
Yeah. More, yes.
Yes.
More Google searches.
Right.
Yes. A lot more group play in the pornography.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like, we're abducting this girl from a gas station and
Right.
I write for myself, and I have the kinkiest mind.
Yeah.
But the things that I actually want to try are less than the things that I write.
yeah.
Because
But I enjoy that in like the fictional experience.
Oh, God,
right?
yeah.
Because it just that gets me over.
oh yeah,
Well,
there's a lot.
So a couple of our friends from the club, like I think maybe Loki might have been talking about reading those Sleeping Beauty books, and I was like, "Did you read the second one yet?" And he was like, "No." I said, "You got to read the second one. There's an amazing gangbang in the second one, and it's hot. It's like this entire tavern room fucks this girl, and like, do I want the entire club to fuck me one night? No,
Right.
but like, is that
Are you
the
sure? Are you sure?
I'm
about
sure.
that?
No, I'm sure.
You're sure
I'm
about
sure.
it?
Now,
100%.
But a select
group where we are playing a gangbang. Yes, I would love that.
Yeah.
But I wanna check that list. I want to approve all the invites on that list.
You have had a gangbang.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a big house party.
I did.
For her birthday, and one of the people that came, it was the morning. It was after all the shenanigans. The bacchanalia was finished, and then or bacchanal. Anyway, whatever. Regardless, all the sex. So anyway, but the next morning, we're making breakfast. He's like, "Hey, listen, my girl, she really wants, like a big group thing, with a bunch of guys." And so he's like, "All right, let's do it. Let's sack up, boys. Let's do this. All right." And then we got to go. So then we went up there, and Evie followed up. She's like, "You know what? There's a second bedroom over there. Those guys are going to get tired. And they're going to sift into my bedroom."
Well, I looked around the kitchen. So all the guys vacated the kitchen, and I looked around the kitchen, and it was just the rest of the ladies left, except for the one who was upstairs asleep. And I was like, "There's sex happening. Are you guys going to go and get the sex, or are you going to go for the sex?" And they were like, "No, we're okay." And I was like, I'm going. And it was really nice. Yeah. But again, that was everybody we knew.
Like,
right.
We
had selected that guest.
We'd already had sex with all of them the night before. So.
Most of them, yeah.
Just at different times.
Yeah. Just at different times, yes.
So tell me how you went from the internal kink and the stuff that you guys were into to then lifestyle stuff where you were swinging and
That's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can start that one.
Well, we wanted to, it was our 20th anniversary. So it's like, let's do something nice. Let's go to a nice place. And I was like, looking around, whatever, and I was going to someplace in Mexico, and I was like, well, they got a nude. I was like, let's go to a nude beach. You don't care that? I was like, no, I don't care. It's out of country,
Right.
Who cares, So I was like, yeah. So then we started looking. It's like, oh, this place looks nice. It's like, oh, this is like a swinger type situation.
This is a lifestyle resort.
Like,
which I didn't even know was a thing or what lifestyle was. So
yeah. So anyway, so then we were like, well, you don't have to play, but there's going to be a lot. But you can be having sex by the pool,
right?
And people will be watching.
I'm sure there's hot tubs around the resort.
And it's like, would you want to do that? And would you care to do that? And she's like, no, that'd actually be really hot. And I'm like, I think so too. Let's do that. Yeah.
And that opened a door to be like, oh, we would fuck with people watching. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So then we
did not take the Mexico trip.
We didn't take the big trip because we had some.
That was the year of everything costing everything.
Yes. Happened, So I was like, well, we still got to do something nice for our 20th anniversary. And we warmed up to this, exhibitionism.
Yes,
thing.
we were like, we want to be naked on this vacation.
Yeah,
we had already committed to that.
Having sex as much as possible, out of the pool, poolside, having sex. I was like, we had already, that's what we're gonna do. That's the plan, right? So, but so we found some place in Florida.
Yeah, we found Secrets. Secrets Hideaway in Florida.
And
in Kissimmee.
It's basically the same thing. It's except it's
you don't have the beach.
Yeah, there's no beach.
But You know, you can be fully nude in the entire resort. The pool is nude. There's hot tubs. They have a very large dungeon there, which we did not know how much we were into at the time that we booked the trip. And then they have a club there, and they have a playroom there too. Yeah. And then it's a hotel on the property too. So you're staying on the property. Yeah. It's like if Tempted had a giant pool out back and a hotel.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Gotcha.
So then...
so we knew there was a nightclub there.
Yes.
And we knew it was like a swingers nightclub.
Yeah. And we was like, well, we never even been to a nightclub.
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
said, have you ever been to a normal club?
It's like,
and I was like,
really.
no. I went to a bar once in college.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yes. Well, I mean,
shit.
okay, so number one, like all of our good friends know this, but like we're huge nerds.
Yeah.
So
What?
like,
we're just
Hadn't
nerds.
noticed.
yeah, my college experience is like sitting around playing like a Star Wars role playing game with my friends on a Friday night.
Okay.
Or I mean, we had gone to karaoke bars in graduate school, and we had gone to pool bars, but we hadn't gone to like a dance club, nightclub type place.
Yeah.
Where the music's pumping.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
just everybody's dancing and raving, doing whatever.
Yes.
So we said, well, let's let's have a dress rehearsal. You know, we
Yeah.
don't want to embarrass ourselves out here. You know, we need
Yeah.
to practice or whatever,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
we're such
Gray
nerds,
wanted to
you know, we had
practice.
to do homework before we went and had fun.
Yes, we had to do some homework to prepare for our sexy vacation.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
I do.
So then we were looking at lifestyle clubs, and it's like,
And at first we were like, well, we're not gonna play at home.
yeah.
Not
Like
in our
we're not
home
fucking
area.
around at home.
Backyard.
Right.
We can't do that.
But then we were looking, and it's like, actually, the one that's in Louisville is the nicest one.
Like we looked at a lot of so like the Swing Nation, they do like a lot of YouTube like review videos where they will
Yes,
walk
do
through
the
a club and
tours.
they do a
Yep.
tour and they kind of show you. And so we watched a lot of those.
Right.
And so we watched Club Tempted, we watched the Red Room in Nashville, we watched Trapeze in Atlanta.
Yep.
And every time we would watch one, I would just say, I'm really
Ours
the
is
one in
better.
Louisville looks
The
better,
Louisville
doesn't
one's
it?
better.
I think I like that one.
Yeah.
That one looks better.
Right.
And then once I got it into my head that, okay, it's okay if we go to a Louisville club.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just try that out. Then we sent in our application to Tempted.
Yeah.
And at first, so then you have to have the discussion, right? Well, what are we trying to do here? Like,
Right.
what are the boundaries? What are we going to be okay
You have
with?
questions. They have questions you have to answer
Yeah.
too, and you're like,
Yes.
you're thinking you need to be honest,
Yes.
but also what answers are they wanting?
Yeah, well, that too.
know?
It's like a lot of pressure. It's like,
Right.
am I going to get in? It's
Exactly.
like, am I okay?
We
So,
had
and
the
you
same
guys
conversation.
didn't have somebody invite you. You
No.
guys
No.
researched
Right.
it and found it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
When we came into it, you had to be invited.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different
Yeah.
because they weren't doing a lot of marketing advertising because it was just after they opened, not too.
Almost a year after they
Yeah.
opened.
Well, it wasn't easy to find it.
No.
Because
Now it is.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, but I was on, Reddit and stuff.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
read Reddit
here's what it
reviews.
was. Oh,
Mhm.
oh.
Well, and we were nervous because we didn't have an in. We didn't have a friend inviting us or like vouching for us, and we were like,
Right.
"Oh, what if we don't get in?"
Right.
And it was actually a year ago. So this weekend, when Tempted celebrates their
It's our
anniversary, it's our
club-iversary.
club anniversary.
Oh,
kidding.
So
awesome.
a year ago, on like this Friday in March, was our tour. Was
Yeah.
our
You have only been there a year. It seems like it's
Yeah.
been so much more.
well, we do go all the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, every time we're
You
there, we
said
see
it's
it.
been a year since we were in there within 3 months or 4 months.
It was
weren't
less
we?
than a year
Yeah. Okay.
from them opening
Yeah.
when
yeah.
we got in.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
remember.
Yeah, because I remember the person that invited me was talking about it.
Mhm.
Like she knew we were. She's like, you should probably go.
Yeah.
And they had just done the. Oh, and she showed me pictures of like, here's me and my friends in the opening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Well, and we had those boundary conversations, and we knew we were into exhibitionism and voyeurism. So based on planning the
Right.
trip, we knew we were comfortable like fucking in public or with the door open or people watching. We knew we were going to be into that, and we knew we wanted to watch other people in the club. And it was so. I remember like when we were planning to go for the first time, I was like, "Are they going to let us play tonight?
Yeah.
Are we playing tonight?" And he was like, "I think so."
I hope so.
I hope
So I hope so. And I was like,
like,
all right. So we knew we wanted that, and
Yeah.
we knew we were okay with parallel play, like if other people were in the room.
Right.
okay.
And then we had sort of kind of had discussions like, well, if somebody puts their hands on me
Yeah.
and we're okay with it, like that would be okay.
Yeah.
But we did not think that we were going to be soft swap or full swap when
Yeah.
we first joined.
Yeah.
So that was a journey too, like figuring out that
so
we were going to
week,
be into that.
We'd be changing our profile, because you got like, I was like, what are you into? It's like, well, maybe we'll do soft swap. And
yeah.
Like, oh, maybe we'll do full swap. And it's like, everything.
Yeah, just
just
check
pretty
everything
much do
off.
everything,
We kept having like mostly very good experiences,
Yeah.
and then we would go home and talk about it and say, well, we liked that this happened, this was really hot, or we were into this was good. Well, what if this had happened? Would we have been okay? And
it's
I
like, yeah.
And I remember looking at him one night. It was maybe like a month in, maybe 6 weeks, and I said, I'm sitting here thinking about you fucking another girl in the club, and like I'm not remotely jealous. It's like I don't have an iota of like worry or jealousy about that at all. I really think it would be super hot. Like I would be into that. And then he was like, yes, me too. Yeah. And so it was pretty fast that we discovered that we were into the whole thing.
It would have been so much easier if you had been with her type than mine, because we had a couple of incidences where we had to work through or talk through what was okay or not okay.
Yes.
And it wasn't anything that there was anything done wrong.
Right.
But like there's some couples, and I don't know if you've come across any of them, where they may not be in the best place in their relationship, and they're kind of using this as a crutch.
Yeah, to try to fix something.
And it doesn't. And, as a person who's pretty perceptive, I knew that that's what was going on, and you don't get my man. He's mine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't even try it, because I promise you I'm from Chicago. Don't even try it. I'll loan him out.
You're from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
I'm teasing.
And that's in the state of Illinois.
Oh, Illinois.
Stop that right now. So, and I felt like there was boundaries crossed that shouldn't have been crossed, and it wasn't his fault. And it took us a lot. Thankfully, Master Nick is the type of man who stands up and says, I did not think that through, or I didn't realize I was going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Me hurting you is never the outcome I want.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if we take that off the table. I am sorry. Like, it's so hard for people to just acknowledge. He's really good.
And just a little backstory on that, then we'll get back to you all. But the very first night I played with somebody else on the cross, we found there was an issue, and that's why now our rule is Lady D goes last. I had her on the cross. I had somebody that had asked me if I would use the flogger stuff on him. I was like, yes, absolutely. We got ready to go to the dungeon. We couldn't find her. Okay, I put Lady D up there. Done a scene with her, was packing everything up. Here come that woman. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do you. I'm okay with that. We didn't communicate. And then she sat outside. This is the old dungeon. Where it was
so
right
cold that night too.
She was out in the hallway
Shivering.
by herself while I was
dropping.
Right.
I had a massive drop. And she was kissing up on him, and he gave her an orgasm, and I was not happy.
Right.
Now
we came home.
Have blankets.
We came home that night, and had the discussion, and me being me, I was like, okay, I just won't play with anybody. And I'm okay with that. I am perfectly fine going. I'm still seeing ass. I'm still seeing titties. I can still see people fuck, and I will still play with you. And I am 100% happy and okay with that. And that's how it was for a few days. And then you came back and you're like, that's not fair to you.
That's not what I'm looking to do.
She said, you had fun doing it. I was like, oh, I had a damn blast. Yeah. She's like, well, I don't want to take that from you. So that was where then we came together and came up with the conclusion of, okay, if there's a line, I'll get whoever's there. But
I'm last.
Yeah.
She's last. She can do her
You
sub
saved the best for last.
She can get her sub drop. I can pack everything up, and then we can immediately leave if needed. So
yeah. So,
That's
it's
great.
a learning experience.
It is.
So did you guys run into any, sounds like it was a pretty smooth transition. Did you run into a situation where maybe?
Yes and no. The thing is I think we speed ran it.
We
We
did.
speed runned it because we go so often. We go,
It's the best date night.
It's the best date night.
Why would we go anywhere else?
I know.
We know people there.
Yes.
We bring our own alcohol.
bring your own
You're
alcohol.
not paying a ton of
An
money out of
exorbitant
pocket
They're
amount
because
playing
we've
all
already
the music
paid.
that we want to dance to.
This is
So
what
it's-
I'm saying.
I get to
And
dance
you're-
in underwear for half the night. We can run right up
So-
and fuck
So we go
whenever
on-
we
we go on
want to.
Fridays
It's like,
and
why would I go
Saturdays.
anywhere else?
So it's like it was really like an emotional, like
It
a
was.
crash course.
And it is, and I think that's the other thing about like if you swing and you do BDSM and you're doing it in the club, your emotional vulnerability is skyrocketed
Yeah.
because I think that's the thing people might not realize about swinging when they first get into it is you are emotionally destroying yourself every time you go out there because you have to be open, right? Because you have to put it on the line. You have to start talking to people. You're basically saying, hey, do you guys want to go have sex with
You're
us?
opening yourself
You're
up to
opening
rejection.
yourself up to rejection.
Yeah.
And people don't realize the emotional stress you put on yourself when you do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you do that at the same time as you're going to have a BDSM scene, like especially for like the night that I dropped so bad and he had to take me to the garden room, it was the combination, right? It was, we were like flirting with a couple, but we kind of didn't know how that was going to go. And so there's all that emotional vulnerability. And then we had this amazing scene in the dungeon and then we were going to try to go play. And just somewhere in that translation, it was like, nope, I'm dropping really fast. Like we got to take care of this first. So there is an emotional vulnerability that it took some time to to learn that it's okay. Well, there is this emotional, where you're emotionally exposed in a way and learning rules too. So even if you're like, we're full swap, whatever, that doesn't mean you don't have rules or boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we still have rules even within that, which a lot of them exist because I have broken them or done something where he has been like, that was not cool. Let's talk about that. Let's put a rule in place about that. Okay, let's have that conversation.
Pause. Let's go on the smoker's deck and let's talk
Yes,
about
and
that.
let's talk about that.
And with regards to you guys are both swingers and BDSM, how do you blend that? What are some things that you do that allow that to blend?
Well,
or do you blend it?
No, yeah.
Because
we
I
do.
know.
It blends.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I'll give you an example. If it's the first time when we're with another couple, and, we've swapped, I'll keep my eye open and see what, the other man is doing with Evie. And it's like, okay, they're doing some stuff. He's obviously comfortable doing that. I'm sure that his woman that I'm having a good time with, pleasuring or whatever, having some fun, I'm going to try that with her, So if I see that, maybe he's, really tweaking her nipples, I'll go in there. I'll say, oh, you like this? Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Because you're
or,
picking up
yeah,
the cues
it's
from
like, or,
another.
putting hands on, it's like, oh, okay. So it's like, yeah, is that what he's like? Oh, yes, So, and, it's stuff like that.
Yeah. So a lot of that more like dominant, submissive bedroom kink, especially.
Yeah.
We have the best time with partners who are into that. Or like if the guys have like a really good dom vibe and they're like, they don't mind bossing you around and telling you what to do, or
That's
holding my face down on their cock. So those are all benefits.
we had a conversation back in the beginning because Master Nick was still developing into Master Nick, right? He was learning and he didn't want anyone doming me at all at the time. And then he has come to realize that I'm not going to enjoy anything if there's not, like, if you're coming in and I'm okay with goofy, but I need that dom vibe, you can be as goofy or video game or, you can be all that stuff and still be a dom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't have that dom vibe,
If you don't have that control and that I'm going to put you in this position or this is what I need you to do. If you don't have that kind of mentality, and a lot of men don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah.
A lot of men don't have that way, and it's amazing when you first meet somebody and you think, okay, I believe this guy's going to be perfect for her. And then there is no dominance, nowhere's in them, and then you're like, oh shit, okay, slowly back away.
and
Now the opposite's fun too, right? Like when you discover more and more and more and more, and that. But some of it. So sometimes
And
we're
that might
like
be them picking up on my cues.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, like what's okay.
Right.
So we're kind of a combination of DTF and we'd like to get to know you.
Yes.
So like sometimes we'll meet a couple and we click and we can tell we're all
Immediately
attracted
vibe.
to
It's
each
like-
other
it's
and
all
we're
vibe.
like, okay, we'll play if you want to play, and we do that. And then sometimes it's more like we're getting to know you, and we're like baby steps. We've done parallel play. The girls have played. We've done a soft swap. And so one of the first couples that we met and started playing with, that was the vibe. And I knew I was attracted to him because he's like a larger guy, like big hands. And I was like, well, this is a type for me, isn't it? It was like, oh, okay. So I knew I was attracted to him.
Master Nick, could you just lift up your hands there?
My little dainty hands.
Oh yeah.
But he was dominant with her.
Right.
Like the first couple. God bless him for being so dominant with her, because maybe the first time we played, he was like, tell me what you want to do with her.
Yeah.
Like, use your words, tell me what you need. And I was like,
words.
oh my God, that was so hot. And the ladies, we played because he had said that. I would not have kissed her or touched her if he had not like made her fess up and say that, right? And that opened a door. And then as we got to know them more and we played with them more, he got more dominant with me too.
Right.
And I got to see more of that vibe. Right. And like now I know, I'm like, oh yeah, you got the right vibe. It's great.
So do you all have a contract of any kind, like a BDSM contract or anything?
We don't.
No.
But we do have like some standard rules.
Yes.
So you've communicated, you know the rules and all that. So
and she is collared.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay.
She wears that 24/7.
And this goes back to another episode where we talked about collars, because it may not be an actual BDSM collar.
Mm-hmm.
We know people that use necklaces with a ring or with something. We know people that have bracelets.
Yeah. We have a friend who has bracelets.
That is their collar, is a bracelet. Okay, so that is good. I've seen it.
And
I've
that
noticed
doesn't come
it, but
off
I've never
without a tool.
Yeah, like it locks.
So it's locked. So we started at one time. She wanted a necklace.
Yeah.
That wanted a lockable link on it. And we went and bought the necklace, and then I don't know what the hell happened to the damn necklace.
No, I have my necklace upstairs, but it's not. It wasn't
we never
locking.
done the lockable.
And
link
that's good for me because I've realized that I've always known I was claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a thing. We've worked through some of the issues with it, but I'm claustrophobic, and sometimes if I can't.
Yeah.
I have to get it off.
The little day collar never bothers me like that, but there are times where like my Evie collar, which I think we're wearing tonight. Did we decide we're doing that?
It's in the bag.
My Evie collar is a lot bigger. Like it was a custom made and it's a pretty big collar.
Right.
And so 2-3 weeks ago we were playing and we played in the dungeon and he flogged me. And then we went to play with some of our friends and I still had my collar on. And there came a point where we were playing where I basically, had to say, would you please take the collar off?
Yeah,
just because it was
sweat and the
it was
neck and the posture.
Especially if it's a thick
explain how you said it.
I was so sometimes Grey is sir.
Yes.
But every now and then if it's a really special or if we're just kind of feeling it, it's my king.
Yes.
And so I said, my king, will you please take my collar off?
Nice.
That's awesome.
I like that.
And I said, say
like that.
please 3 times and then I will do it.
Yeah. But she knows I like that.
Right. And we know how the name changes. Like I said, occasionally it's sir. Most of the time it's master.
Yeah.
There has been a few times it's been daddy.
Usually daddy is, when he's like force orgasming me, like where he's got me pinned and I just am going up and up. Like that's when isn't that kind of twisted? But that's when my brain goes, daddy.
I got a story. Talk about BDSM and the swinging. All right. You remember our Tennessee friends, the concert friends?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me tell the story real quick. All right?
Yes.
They have a master-slave dynamic, and they're into like the leather.
Yes.
They were in
like
town.
subsect. Yes.
They were in town for it was just the ladies. They were in town. They're best friends. They were in town for a concert that got rained out, right? And so they said, well, we're going to go to the sex club or whatever, right? And we were in the lounge with some of our other friends, and we were having a good time, and I could see them, over,
they were watching.
Yeah, they were watching, and so I was like,
It's the energy.
Yeah,
the energy helps.
See, say hi, and so so we were talking. It's like, you want to go right there into the fishbowl? And they're like, yes.
I said so.
You
Number
did,
one, our
yes.
other friend introduced himself in like this, like standard, almost vanilla way, which he thought was funny, and I thought was nice.
It was nice. It was
because
funny. Because
was
his girl
giving
was
him
going down
oral,
on,
and
actually,
so was
they were
his
both-
girl.
yeah,
We
they
were
were
both going down on
me.
him, and he was watching. And I thought it was nice. You thought it was funny.
It was funny.
And then you were trying to move into the fishbowl because I think you knew you could move everybody in there.
Yeah.
And when we were headed that way, I looked
I don't
over.
have a sixth sense. I have a sixth sense.
I looked over at the girls and I
It's
said,
fine.
we don't have enough people to put the rope up. So the room is going to be open. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And one of them said, is that an invitation? And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
That Kismet turned out to be
That
one of the
was
best things that
wild.
ever
Well
happened to us.
deserved.
That turned into an amazing weekend.
Sometimes when we're done, having all of our sexual fun, I'll say, I'm so glad we met you guys.
Mhm. We are glad that we
Yeah.
met them.
So, but anyway, having said that, so they are big BDSM.
Yeah.
And so when I found out that one of them wanted to be spanked, of course, I didn't have my implements or anything in there. So I was like, all right, you got it. And her friend was really, bop, 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 bop. So I was like, okay, I can do that.
Well,
but
you do a very good open-handed spanking.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you.
Do you
So anyway,
do you ever get like your pussy spanked?
Every now and then, yes. That intimidates me.
Yeah,
he
you-
knows
what I'll do is I'll do both nipples, just bam,
yes.
bam, and then
which the first time he
bam.
did that was like
yeah.
sailing over the moon.
But anyway, I was really laying into her, and she
dropped fast.
noodled, and the fishbowl is like it's like you fall off a cliff,
Right.
and it's like she fell on me, and I was on the edge already. I was like, oh man, I don't hope I don't fall off, and she.
Well, it was like
she
then three
was
of us were
out.
all after carrying her at the same
Yeah,
time because her
yeah.
friend and me and you were all.
Yeah,
Right.
She had a great time.
She noodled.
Yeah. Well, and then I told him, I was like, listen, I'm reading. It was so funny because I had just read one of their FetLife profiles that day. And then we were cuddling, post-coital. And I was like, tell me more about yourself. And she was going into like what she does for her BDSM community in her town. And I was like, wait a minute. Are you so-and-so on FetLife? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I just read your profile today. Because like the things she was telling me, I just read in her profile. I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, that is a small world type thing. That's
Yeah.
a small world.
Yep.
And then we went home and I told him, I was like, listen, she wants to be used. I was like, her whole profile is about how she wants to be used and how her dom has sent her out to get used. And I was like, you're going to need like some more degradation play and things like that tomorrow night if we play again.
So yeah, the
and he
next night,
he
it
took
was like,
notes.
God, so,
And,
hey,
Google.
No, hey.
oh no, he didn't have to
He didn't
Google how to
need
do
Google?
degradation play. No, because he knows I want that too.
Yeah, that had been, we had been in the lifestyle for a while at that point. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then it was,
I don't know
it
if
was
I've
really
ever
wild night.
did I. So I think I did talk about this on one of the episodes, but I was seeing somebody who was like a kinkster.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he did, and it was degradation, but it was the first.
Consensual degradation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was the first time. I mean, I've had daddy role plays. There's been all kinds, but it was the first time somebody did something. I don't like if you call me names. I realized that when I was seeing somebody and they were calling me names as part of degradation, and I react very poor.
Yeah.
I react poorly to
No,
that.
I don't believe that.
I think I crackled
I need it balanced with the praise kink.
Okay.
So, and I don't want it outside of the dungeon or the bedroom.
But-
so, like,
Gotcha.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't
like
want
if you're
the
gonna send
degradation
me a
in daily
text,
life.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you're gonna send me a text and you're gonna call me my little whore bitch, whatever.
Now he could do that in a text
It-
if he was setting up play.
But
He
if
could
it-
do
yeah,
that.
But it
yeah.
is
So,
a difference. Yeah.
Yes.
This guy licked me.
You're going to have to quit telling the story. Reason being, and I'm going to let you finish this minute, but you're going to have to quit telling the story because I don't want you to think I'm copying off this guy. But I'm trying to give it enough time of you talking about it.
It's like this worked. I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
So he literally, as I was coming,
Yeah.
he licked me flat tongued all the way up my face. And I mean, it was naughty. Like
Yeah.
he said, it was kind of like he was choking me at the time. And he's
Yeah.
like, I was putting on my like serial killer vibe. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he goes, it was raunchy. And I lost it. Like I enjoyed that so much.
You're going to have to quit.
Okay,
You got to give me at
that's-
least 3 months from telling that damn story, so it's
Yeah.
not. So I'm not copying.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes me think of one of our friends, our very good friends, a beautiful unicorn. All right, this one time, everybody's trying to figure somebody out for the first time. And I said, we're in the act. And I said, are you a little slut? And she said, no, I'm a princess. And I said, you are a princess. And so now it's always, hello, princess.
Right.
And, like the degradation line is I feel like that's one that you have to know that somebody wants.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like we were in the pillow room with like another group and they had this whole degradation thing going. And then they started to call like one of our friends a dirty whore or something like that. And then he was like, no.
I went over there. And that was a weird situation. And but I said I checked in. I was like, are you all right? And she's like, I need to take a break. So I was like, okay, good. I'm glad I came over there. And then some guy said, is that your wife, man? And I was like, and what I wanted to say, I wanted to be like, Fast and Furious, like, no, she's family. But I didn't. And I wasn't that cool. I said, no, she's not a slut. She's a good girl. And I was like, that's it. They made fun of me. It's like, she's a good girl. I was like, well, she is.
Yeah.
They weren't being respectful.
But that is a huge thing.
But I want to be both, like with the guys that we trust and like the people that are in that circle of trust, and definitely with him, I want to be both. So like I want the degradation. So like we'll do that a lot, right? Like in just our own play at home, like he'll be like, I'm just gonna use you, like I'm just gonna come inside you, I'm just using you.
But that was one of the, I mean, in our contract, it's like where he says that his seed will only mouth
or pussy.
Pussy or anal.
Yeah, or anal.
That's what, So I get into all of these things mentally.
Yes.
But what happens in real life, it just depends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
It's very dependent on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it does, because we were doing that one night after we had a big hotel date.
Yeah.
And it was really, really towards the end of the evening. It was very late at night. And he was trying to go off one more time. And I couldn't get there with the degradation. And I was like, I'm going to lose it if you keep doing this. We got to change it up. And he was like, oh, don't drop right now. Don't drop right now. And I was like, okay. Okay.
But it was like, yeah, we should just go home.
We should maybe go to bed.
It has
now.
been a good night.
So do you, obviously we've heard a lot of stories that are fun stories tonight. So do you have any that was kind of like a red flag that you walked away from?
So I'm going to have to cut you off right there. So stick around. Great. We'll have Grey and Evie back next week.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.